Morning, students. Today we will continue our history lesson number 2 with the topic the company army. Now here we will read about the company army, how the changes were done in the company by the company in the army. Now the colonial rule in India brought in some new ideas of administration and reform, but its power rested on its military strength. Now here we come to know about the military power that Dow Company had brought some new ideas to of the administration in India, and many changes were made, but most important thing on the company's part was its military strength. Now the Mughal army was mainly composed of cavalry. Now here the word cavalry. Cavalry means Sawars, and in Hindi it is called as Sawars, means trained soldiers on the horseback. So the trained soldiers on the horseback were called as Sawars, and they were called as cavalry. And the infantry. So the Mughal army contained these two types of soldiers. First type of soldiers were cavalry, the men which were trained soldiers on the horseback. And the second type of soldiers, or we can say army, was of infantry, that is pedal or foot soldiers. Now they used to fight the war of the with the ruler with bow and arrow and the swords and all, and they were always in the front of the army. So they were given training in archery. These pedal or foot soldiers were given training in the archery, that is tirandazi, and use of the sword. How to use the sword? These all pedal foot soldiers were taught by the Mughals. The cavalry dominated the army, and Mughal state did not feel the need to have a large professionally trained infantry. Now the Mughal rulers gave more importance to the cavalry. Cavalry means the Sawars, who were the soldiers on the horseback. So the more importance was given to the horse riders in the army by the Mughals. Why? Because they did not think any need of the pedal or foot soldiers to be professionally trained or to increase the number of this. Why? Because the reason is given here. The rural areas had a large number of armed peasants. Now the rural areas means the village areas had a large number of peasants, farmers working with the arms. They were having their own arms. They were having their own arms and ammunition, own weapons. So whenever the king was in need, Mughal army, whenever it was in need of the soldiers, the local zamindars used to supply the Mughal with this pedal soldiers. So the Mughal rulers did not find any importance in to train the infantry or to have the professionally trained soldiers which were on foot, because they were already being provided with the soldiers as by the local zamindars, and the local zamindars used to send the peasants to fight the wars for the king army. Now the change occurred in the 18th century. Now finally, no importance was given to the pedal or foot soldiers. Cavalry were given more importance now, but now the change appeared in the 18th century. Mughal successors, now those who were the successors of the Mughal rulers, means after the death of the king, those who sat and had the control over the kingdom, like states in Awadh and Banaras. The example is given that in states of Awadh and Banaras, the recruiting peasants into their armies, they started. The Mughal successors in Awadh and Banaras, they started recruiting. Recruiting means they started appointing the peasants. Peasants means farmers. Now the proper appointment of the army was being done from the peasants into their armies and training them as professional soldiers. Now these peasants were professionally trained soldiers now. Who has done this? Because the change had appeared in the 18th century by the Mughal successors. Now here, as Mughal successors had changed the technology of warfare, that now their army, their soldiers were professionally trained. The same thing was adopted by the East India Company also. Now East India Company adopted the same method when it began recruitment for its own army. When now East India Company also appointed the people for its own army, it started the same method, means proper appointment, professional soldiers were properly trained soldiers were appointed in the company also, which came to be known as Sepoy Army. And later on, these trained soldiers which were recruited in company's army was called as Sepoy Army. Sepoy, the word Sepoy is taken from the word Indian word Sipahi. Now Sipahi meaning a soldier. So this word Sepoy is the is the word taken from the Indian word only Sipahi. As warfare technology changed from the 1820s. Now, as we have seen that warfare technology totally changed. Previously, no recruitment, no appointment was there. Those who want to join, even the local Zamindar used to send the peasants. Though they were not trained, but they used to send the peasants to fight for the king's army. But now, totally warfare technology changed in 1820s. The cavalry requirements of the company's army declined. Now, the requirement for the cavalry means the army on the horseback. Requirement of that declined. Why? Because most of the soldiers of the British Empire were fighting with Burma, Afghanistan, and Egypt. And that is why the need for the company army was there. And the soldiers were armed with muskets and matchlocks. Now here company's army. In the company's army, these soldiers were armed with, they were having proper warfare technology. They were armed with muskets. Muskets, the word muskets means it is a heavy gun used for the infantry soldiers. Those who are pedal soldiers who are fighting for the ruler, they were having now the heavy guns with them. And the matchlocks. Now, what is the matchlock? The early type of gun, which was powdered, the powder of that gun was initiated by the match. Now, माचिस की तीली में से वो पाउडर निकाल करके और वो गन में इग्निशिएट करके और वो उस टाइप से वो गन यूज किया जाता था अर्ली इयर्स में. तो इस टाइप से वॉरफेयर टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो गई. नाउ दे प्रीवियसली दे वर फाइटिंग विद bow and arrow or swords and all. Now the totally, not only in the Mughal army but in the company's army also, the warfare technology changed by using the muskets and matchlocks. The soldiers of the company army had to keep pace with the changing military requirements. Now, as day-to-day changes were there in the military requirements, so the changes were made in the soldiers also. The things were provided, proper weapons, proper technology was provided to the soldiers to fight the war. And infantry regiments now became more important. Now, infantry became more important in the army. Previously, cavalrymen, that is the soldiers on the horseback, was important. More importance was given to them, and they did not pay any attention to the pedal soldiers. But now infantry, that is the soldiers on the foot, they were given more importance because they were provided with musket and matchlocks. In the early 19th century, the British began to develop a uniform military culture. Now, again, the development was made in the British Army. 19th century, again, a uniform military culture was developed. Means everywhere, same rules and regulations will be followed for the military purpose. Now, soldiers were increasingly subjected to European style training. Now, the changes were made in the military of the East India Company. What changes were made? Now the soldiers were subjected to European style of training. That means they were given proper training in European style to fight the war. Even drill and discipline, that is the exercises and strict discipline, was followed in the regular life of the soldiers far more than before. Before it was not so, but now the changes were made in the company's army also. So here this paragraph shows about the changes made in the company army, that the soldiers were European style training was given, drill and discipline was there, and often this created problems since caste and community feelings were ignored. Now in this way, whosoever was appointed in the company army, the soldiers, they were feeling that they are totally ignoring their caste and community feelings. Whatever feelings were there for their caste, for their particular community group, those feelings were totally ignored by the Indian soldiers. Why? Because just one intention was there, whenever they were being recruited in the company army, first and foremost thing was that they had to fight for the East India Company whenever a war is there for with any country. So now so many questions arises in the mind of the soldiers. Could individuals so easily give up their caste and religious feelings? क्या कोई सिर्फ लड़ाई के लिए सोल्जर्स अपने काम के लिए दूसरों के लिए अपना कास्ट और रिलीजियस सेंटिमेंट्स छोड़ सकते हैं? कुड दे सी देमसेल्व्स ओनली एज अ सोल्जर? क्या वो अपने आप को सिर्फ एक सोल्जर से देख सकते हैं? उनकी क्या कोई फैमिली बैकग्राउंड नहीं है, फैमिली लाइफ नहीं है, एंड नॉट एज अ मेंबर ऑफ कम्युनिटी? क्या वो अपने आप को एक मेंबर कम्युनिटी का नहीं मान सकते if they are recruited in the company's army? So all these questions arise in the mind of the soldiers who were recruited in the company army. So now how does these sepoys means here again I'm repeating, sepoys means the soldiers. It is used to denote the soldiers in the company army. So how the soldiers in the company's army, that is sepoys, felt about their own condition when they were fighting for the East India Company. And this all frustration was seen from the soldiers was seen in the revolt of 1857. Now this revolt of 1857 is considered as the greatest revolt against the Britishers. It is also called as the first war of Indian independence. Though India did not get the independence in this war, but most of the community of the people, most of the group of the people rose themselves against the policies of the Britishers. They just want to they just want to throw out the Britishers from from India. That is why this is called as the revolt of 1857. And here the soldiers had supported the people who were against the Britishers. So this comes now conclusion. Thus, the East India Company was transformed from the trading company to the territorial colonial power. Now, as we have seen earlier, that most important intention of East India Company to come to India was just for the trading purpose. They just came here for the business with Indian states. But slowly, it changed its policy into the territorial colonial power. It became a big supreme power by extending its kingdom here, by extending its power here in the Indian states. Clear? Now the arrival of the new steam technology. Another important thing is there. Now new technology came, that is the steam technology in the early 19th century. Also aided this process. Means enhanced this process of change. Now till it would take anywhere between 6 to 8 months to travel to the India by sea. कहीं भी इंडिया में ट्रैवल करने के लिए 6 से 8 महीने लगते थे अगर सी के थ्रू ट्रैवल किया जाए तो. But steam ships reduced. Now due to the invention of steam technology, steam ships were introduced, and this reduced the journey time to 3 weeks. Only within the 3 weeks, now Britishers were able to come with their families to any part of our country, that is in India. So here we can say that steamships reduce the journey time to 3 weeks, enabling means enhancing more Britishers and their families to come to far off country like India. Now by 1857, the company came to exercise direct control over 63% of the territory and 78% of the population of Indian subcontinent. Now by 1857, we have seen that now the company had a direct control over most of the territories, most of the states, most of the regions of India, and even the population was under the British control in Indian subcontinent. Combined with its indirect influence on the remaining territory and population of the country, the East India Company had virtually the whole of India under its control. Now virtually, in another way, if we see, we can say that almost whole of India was under the East India Company, that is under the Britishers. I hope till here it is clear. Now a small paragraph on slave trade is given here as well. Slave trade in South Africa. Now the Dutch trading ships reached South Africa in the 17th century. Now the Dutch trading ships, the business ships of Dutch reached to South Africa in the 17th century. Soon a slave trade began. Now, due to this, a slave trade began. Slave trade means दास प्रथा, लोगों को बंदी बना करके उनको बेड़ियों में बांध करके और उनको जबरदस्ती अपने लिए काम के लिए खरीदा जाता था. And that is called as slave trade. Now, people were captured, chained and sold in the slave market. Slave market में जाकर के उनको बेच दिया जाता था. When slavery ended, जब दास प्रथा खत्म हुई, slavery खत्म हुई, तब in 1834 there were 36,774 privately owned slaves. कितने slaves थे उस वक्त जब ये दास प्रथा स्लेवरी खत्म हुई? In 1834 जब स्लेवरी खत्म हुई तब तक 36,774 slaves बना लिए गए थे privately owned means individual के द्वारा. At the Cape. Cape कहाँ पर है? Located in the southernmost tip of Africa. Now a visitor to the Cape in 1824 has left a moving account of what he saw at the slave auction. अब एक विजिटर जिसने विजिट किया केप को, वहां पर उन्होंने एक कंडीशन देख करके, स्लेव की कंडीशन देख करके वो अपना एक अकाउंट लिखा. They having learned that there was to be a sale of cattle, farm stock, etc. by auction. अब कैटल्स, जानवरों की बेचा जा रहा था उस मार्केट में. We halted a wagon for the purpose of procuring fresh oxen. इन लोगों ने भी अपनी फ्रेश ऑक्सन खरीदने के लिए अपना वैगन, अपना कार्ट रोका. अमंग द स्टॉक, जो स्टॉक थे, जो जानवर बेचने के लिए खड़े हुए थे वहां पर, अमंग दो स्टॉक was a female slave, एक फीमेल स्लेव खड़ी हुई थी, and with her 3 children, उनके 3 बच्चों के साथ. The farmers examined them as if they had been so many head of cattle. फार्मर्स वगैरह देख रहे थे जैसे दूसरे जानवरों को देखते हैं, वैसे ही वो उस फीमेल को और उनके 3 बच्चों को भी देख रहे थे जैसे उनको खरीदना हो. They were sold separately and to different purchasers. अब इन लोगों को, वो फीमेल को और उनके 3 बच्चों को अलग अलग परचेजर्स को बेचा गया. The tears and anxiety and anguish of the mother while she cast heart-rending look upon her children, and the simplicity and touching sorrow of the poor young ones while they clung to the distracted parents. Now, this is the poor condition, heart-whelming condition of the people over there who were sold in the slave market. Now, this is the example of the female slave with her 3 children, that they were sold to the separate purchasers. Even the young ones were very much weeping and all. They do not want to leave their parents and go to some other individual. So this was the condition. That comes to an end of the lesson. I hope you have understood the lesson nicely, from trade to territory, that how the East India Company just came to India for the business purpose, for the trade, and then finally turned its mind to a big colonial power here in India. Now match the column. You can mark in the book, match the column. First mark 1, 2, 3 in first box. First Diwani, second Tiger of Mysore, third Faujdari Adalat, fourth Rani Chennamma, and fifth Sipahi. Now in the second box, now you can mark the correct numbers. Diwani is the right to collect the land revenue. Put number 1 here. Tiger of Mysore was called, Tipu Sultan was called as Tiger of Mysore. So write down number 2 over here. Then Faujdari Adalat. Faujdari Adalat was criminal code. Number 3. Then fourth, Rani Chennamma. Rani Chennamma was led to an anti-British movement in Kittur. This will be number 4. And fifth, Sipahi. The word Sipahi means sepoy. I hope you have marked all. Match the column. Now fill in the blanks. You can write down. I will give the spellings. You can write down the spellings over here in the book itself. The British conquest of Bengal began with the Battle of Plassey. Plassey, Plassey. Second, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan were the rulers of Mysore. Mysore, Mysore. Third, Dalhousie implemented the doctrine of lapse, LAPSE, lapse. Fourth, Maratha kingdom were located mainly in the western part of India, WESTERN, western part of India. Now, true and false, mark here only in the book. The Mughal Empire became stronger in the 18th century. False. Next, the English East India Company was the only European company that traded with India. It is also false because many other companies also came to India for trade purpose and they started trading also. So this will be also false. Next, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the ruler of Punjab. This is true. And then fourth, the British did not introduce administrative changes in the territories they conquered. This is false. I hope you have marked all. Only the C will be true. That is of Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the ruler of Punjab. Rest all the three will be false. Now question answers. I'm going to send in the PDF form on the student portal also I will upload, and in the group also I will send to you. So please do the question answers very neatly in your notebooks. Whenever the notebooks will be returned to you, keep the PDF safely with you, save it, and whenever you get the notebooks back, you try to complete the work in the notebook with correct spellings. Clear? Now these are the very short I have given. 7 very short are there. In which year did Aurangzeb died? Then where was the first factory of British East India Company established? Like this. 7 questions I have given of very short. Short questions are also there. 2 short are there. And 4 long are there. 4 long question answers are there. I hope you have understood the lesson. If any doubt, then also you can ask me in our next class. But next class, we are going to start with geography lesson number 2. So that's all for today. Thank you.